Hi, it's Jess here from Nigezza Creates. Thank you for joining me today. So we're here with these two journals again, which is the journals that I'm making using No Digital's genuine ephemera. So this is the one that I've done everything to, and this is the one I'm showing you how to do it. So I'm trying to add colour. Last time we made tags and journaling cards, and I was thinking of another way of adding colour, and I decided to use fabric. It's not something that I've done much of, adding fabric. I've added the odd sort of lacy strip and ribbon, but never sort of done anything major with fabric. So each signature has got a fabric covered tag. So I'm going to show you how I did that, and I've added fabric. This book, the paper was quite fragile, much more fragile than this book, and I was afraid of the book page that I've used ripping because it was very fragile. So I've just put some fabric strip down the fold of it, and I felt that this edge needed a bit more reinforcement, so I've used some washi tape on that side, and on this side I've also used washi tape, but I put some ribbon on that side as well. So yeah, that is how I've added, and I've put ribbon on the edges of paper all the way through. I've got a little tab there as well. So there's other pages where I've added ribbon on the side. So instead of washi tape, which I've done on that one, this one I just put a strip of ribbon, and that's the fabric on that piece. I don't think I put any on that one. No, I didn't. I just decided, because that was so close and it was an afterthought, that I just put the fabric down here on that, and that is the tag there. And I added a fabric flip, which is a first for me. I've never done that before, but on these centerpieces, I just thought that would be nice. So that is what I'm going to show you today. Let's pop you back in before I lose you. And that should then be us done. Just the cover then to do. Famous last words. We'll see how we get on. So because this has turned into be quite heavy with having that on it, that's why I thought this needed a little bit of reinforcing. So I'm not as worried about this centerpiece on this, because this paper is much more robust than the other one, but nevertheless I think I'm gonna do that. So I started with folding up the page like so that it's got can't remember on the back one if I want to fold it the other way, because I'm not sure what I'm going to do on this back page. I'm not going to do that one just yet. So I'm just going to stick that down as it is, and then I'm going to get some ribbon, and the fabrics that I am using have all come from a rag rug. I'm trying to get the blockage out of this without grabbing a pin. I can't find the pin. There they are. I did a little bit of a not a clean up, but I just sorted out some of my ink pads, which are directly in front of me. So I had to sort of move a few bits out of the way in order to get to them. And so yeah, that one got moved off. It's home, which is normally much more handier. Yes, anyway, enough of the waffle. yeah, a couple of years ago. It was during lockdown, I think it was. I think people were just bored, weren't they, and finding different things to do. And those sort of rag rugs, that everybody was taking them apart and finding fabric. And so I found one in a charity shop. I've got one actually on the floor in one of our rooms, which I did almost use, but it's quite big. So I found a little one, and so I've used the fabrics from that. I mean, lots of people have got beautiful pieces of silk. I don't think these are they're just nylon, I think. But nevertheless, they're quite pretty. Lots and lots of different colours. What I did when I took it apart is I bagged them all up into, these aren't all of them, sort of Ziploc bags. So I got all my different arrays of colours. So I just thought that was easier. And then these just sit in a basket. So I did think that was an easier way of handling them all. But yeah, some of them are lace, some are bits of fabric, some are plain. So yeah, all sorts came from it. So I've used these 3 in that journal, and that one. And I thought we're just going to use blue for this bit I'm going to show you today. So because I'm using blue, I thought we'd get it sort of match it a bit. Now I've got some seam binding, and I thought I could colour that to match. So in order to get some ribbon to match, I thought I would just colour some white seam binding with an alcohol marker. This one, it's a bit darker, but I think it goes quite well. So I've just coloured that. It doesn't take too long to dry because it's alcohol. So that's what I was thinking I would pop along the edge there. And I put a strip down there. Just going to get a strip out of my bag rather than one of those bigger pieces. So we'll find a strip. That's a nice little strip. That could go down there. I'm only going to do it one side again, but yeah, I think that will work quite nicely down there, and then we'll make our tag. So just check there's no colour left on there. No. So just cut that off in there. And I find that glue stick holds this light ribbon quite well. So I'm just going to put a bit of glue stick down. And I figured that by the time I finish working on it with all my opening and closing it, if it hasn't started lifting off, then it'll be okay. And if it has, then I'll use some Fabri-Tac on it. But so far, they are holding on. I managed to get glue on there like a Burke. There we go. So I now stick that down on the edge of the paper. And I quite like, I think I was right, it's just coming off. It felt like I was sticking it down on the wrong side, but I think it's just the glue comes through, so then you need to go over it. Just pull it back. You've got wiggle room to get this in the place you want, and you just need to leave it to dry, and it will dry and not be sticky on the top. And then likewise for down the centre, and I did put some extra glue as well on this, but I just glue sticked down the spine bit. I guess you could washi tape. Didn't have washi tape in the colour I wanted, so that's why. I've gone for the fabric, and then we'll just stick it down, go back in with some glue after. So places where might need a bit more, put that down. And that is that bit there, and then you can just crease it down and it's fine. And then we need to do our tag, so I'm going to leave that to dry whilst we make the tag. So the way I made the tag was, this is the book page that's been glued together. On the other one I folded in half, but actually these are quite robust, so didn't need to. So I'm just going to cut 2 out of this, so mark it there so that I can just chop it there in half, and I'll make 2, so I've got one for each signature. They are just over 2 inches wide. And I'll use my tag topper, punch there to make the tops. I'm just cutting the 2 whilst I'm here, but I'm only going to make the one on camera. And then I'm gonna just trim the bottom a bit, because this will actually be, that is the same length as the book page, so I want it a little bit shorter. There we go, that goes in my little jar. So what I did, I might even just use the leftover of that strip there. That's quite cool. That'll work nicely, I think. And then I took a strip of this, to go on top, so we'll just cut that. I sort of did it a slight slant. Didn't do it that way, just you Wally. Yeah, Wally. That's better. That looks more like a house roof. So that is the way I wanted it. might actually go that way. And we'll have it sneaking off to the bottom there. Yeah, that's the way I want it. And I did cover this in glue stick. To put this down, I'm just going to fray that top a little bit because I do like the frayed look. Down a tad. Quite like the fabric hanging off the edge, but that may change. And then just want to make sure each bit's secured down. I will then sew it. Obviously, if you haven't got a sewing machine, you can't sew. I like the look of sewing, and I'm sewing it before I put anything on the back there. And then that's going to go on there. So I'll just put a little bit glue on there, just to hold it in place whilst I do the sewing. So I'm going to get my sewing machine and sew that round. And the other bit of sewing involves the fabric flip, so I may as well get that prepared. So I'm only going to the sewing machine the once. So I've got these bits here, so quite like the flower like that. That's quite a nice look. We've got the selvage of the fabric there. Yeah, that will be cool. So I'm going to put a snip there, and yeah, it will rip. When you've got offcuts like this, I sometimes don't know if you're on the right portion of the fabric to get the rip right. So we'll go across there. It won't rip that way, so we'll just cut it, and then I'll just pull it a bit to get a bit of fraying going on, and then the top end will go across there. So that's for my fabric flip. Yeah, go that way. And then I just had a bit of ribbon at the top. I use this Hessian burlap on the top. I think I'm going to use it again. I was going to change my mind and use a different one. I haven't opened this ribbon, but I was going to use this one instead. I'm going to open it and see which I like best, actually. I like it. I like it. Looks nice with both, actually, doesn't it? No, I'm going to stick with that one. It's a good excuse to open this, so I may now actually use it. So just cut the bit of ribbon, cut it ever so slightly wider. go. And so then I took a bit of glue stick to hold it in. This is the right way up, isn't it? Yeah, it says tempo there. Yeah, got the pockets on the inside. So just a bit of glue stick across there. To hold it in place. Just whilst we sew. And then a bit of glue stick on that. To hold that in place. Ready for sewing. Glue sticking up a bit there. And obviously we do the same on the other side. So I'm going to get those all sewn. Okay, so they're all sewn. And you see I went round the edge of the blue fabric and then I went round the little spider webby fabric, and I forgot that originally I just did a straight stitch round, but I started it zigzag and I'd forgotten, so I just did zigzags at the top and the bottom, and actually I quite like it. And then this is me with page flips, and then I went ahead and I repeated it for the other signature, and this time choosing this lovely purple fabric, and I did the tag. And so that's how I finished the tag off, with a little flower there. So I'm going to show you how I finished it off, and then I backed it with just some tea dyed paper, and that covered up the stitching, but you can still see the outline of the stitching there. Quite like that. I haven't covered the back of that one yet. So to get the flowers, I just took a bit of the book page that this is made from. I've got a little daisy stamp here, and I've got a punch that punches it out. These are retired Stampin' Up ones. And I'm gonna choose stamping it. I'm gonna stamp it in Misty Moonlight. I think that'll be a nice blue to go with that. So I want to go over where there's words. There we go. Oh, yeah, I like that. And there. Yep. So then you can just stamp it out, but I know that's too much of a margin there, so I'm just going to rip down there. And then I've got a nice little strip there to use for something else. I just watched Steph Howes from Hilltop Journals, and I was watching her video on making ruffles, and she uses those edges to put a fabric onto before she sews them. So yeah, another use for them. So just line up the punch and punch that flower out. Has a little bit of a margin, like it. And of course you can decorate it with anything, but I just thought this was a nice idea. Obviously I'm not using digitals or anything, so I thought stamping on the book page was a good idea for what I'm doing with this journal. This is the first bit of stamping I've done, and that just looks really nice on there, I think. I'll clean that later. So I just glue these together. Normally I'd shape flowers, but tags in a journal, maybe not so much. So put a bit of glue on there. I may have left the lid off this for too long. Oh no, it's coming out. It is all right. Don't panic, Mr. Mannering. Okay, so I'm just looking to make sure I got the words up the right way. So that's up the right way. That's the right way up, but obviously we've got to turn it slightly for that to go on there. And then for the centre, I took my 1/2 inch circle punch and I kind of looked for a word. There's spring. I might just put, oh, it says guest spring there, maybe not. I kind of looked for a word. Chill, still. Not quite like that. Chill, still. Just because you can read it. So yeah, little chill still in there. That's quite nice. And then I'll just ink round it a little bit before I stick it down. I put flowers, found the word flowers for the middle of that one. Like that, because it's a flower. So we'll just stick a bit of glue in there. And then check again. What's the right way up? Yeah. Just put a little bit of this on those edges. And I'll stick that down. And then we just need to put a back in on the tag and add some ribbon to the top. And I just thought that was a nice way of adding some colour to the journal without resorting to digitals. And I'm loving doing this because it's given me ideas now. I think I'd be more inclined to use fabric in journals in the future. So got myself some tea dyed paper here. I dye with tea, not coffee, because I didn't like the smell of the coffee, whereas tea doesn't smell that much. And so you get a lighter colour, but I do get darker as well, because sometimes I leave it to soak. If I leave it to soak in the tea, I do get a darker colour, but these ones are light. Let's take a bit off the bottom. Actually a bit wide, I think. Right, I'll take that off the top there. And I'm gonna just take a little bit off the edge here, because I feel that it's not very straight for a start. I feel it's a bit too wide. Feel that's a better size now. Yeah. And we just need to take a little bit more off the top. That should now, yeah, perfect, that'll do. So ripping helps the edges be a bit fluffy, so you get a better inking effect. Which I like. And then I'll just bit of glue stick up the middle, and then I'll go around the edges. Slightly off camera there, I do apologise. And that is those tags done. And then there's a couple of other tags in the journal that don't use fabric, but they're like the last bits. I might quickly show you. Okay, it's that. And then we just need to do the top, so I just put this slit in the top there, eyeballing for the centre. There we go. And I had a few choices of blue. And then I got the bit that I've coloured, which I think is what I'm going to go for, because that will match. Yeah, that will match the ribbon I put on the edge of the page. So there. And then I'll just colour with a bit of twine. I think I've run out of the ready stuff, so I've got this great big spool that I think will probably last me a lifetime. Got it in charity shop. I think I paid about £1.99 for it. There's a ridiculous amount of twine on it, and I just colour it. So I just fold it around like that. Find this the easiest, and then just rub this over. Turn it over the other way. And that just makes it all look a little bit more grungier. So I just want enough, getting all tangled, I can't believe I just did that. Just enough to tie a bow. We'll have that. Then I just sort of leave that there so it's easy to come by. Might not have done enough there, Jez. Might have been a little bit stingy with that, and it's not like you're short of the stuff either, is it? Not really. Oh well. So pass it over the ribbon like so. Get the two ends, and I tighten the knot 90 degrees to where I want the bow to sit, and then your bow sits where you want it. The bow will literally sit 90 degrees to how you've tightened the first knot. There we go. Pull the two ends. It was enough, and that's that. So that's all ready now to go in here. So let's find a page. So I did the purple page whilst I was off camera. Where's the blue page? There we go. So that's now dry because it's the next day for me. So that goes in there, and this gets, there they are. Oh, well done, Jez. This gets put, oh, I haven't gone around the edges of this. That's what I haven't done. Just need to ink. I decided to leave all the fabric hanging over. I may change my mind, but for the moment I am leaving it. So that goes in there like so. So we've got a nice bit of matchy colour going on there. And then if we flip to the centre, that is where this is going. And obviously we need tags in there. And then I've done the purple one to go in there, and my purple tag, that will straighten out again. We'll go on there. And I've now lost, there they are. That's where they go. And then we need some tags for in there as well. So that is that bit. Now there are a couple of other places where I have added bits of colour. So on, there is a bit over the page there. So on this bit over the page where I put the leftover ledger paper, I forgot it was called. What I decided to do was give it a nice stamped edge. Punched even. Oh, didn't do that very well. There we are, did it like that. And so this is the one with the blue. So I'm going to take a bit of the Misty Moonlight and just go over the edge slightly with a bit of blue. And then I just toned it down ever so slightly by going over, so it's more of a vintage blue. And then pop that back. Like so. So then I turned to this bit, and what I did, so I did it on this side as well. To give these edges a little bit of colour and a little bit of strength, I folded in a little margin there, and I folded just a little bit. Did I fold it to the other side? Let's fold it to the other side. Just give it a little bit of strength there, and then I just put the ribbon down again like I did before. I need to colour it in blue, and they got stuck down either side like before, so I'm just going to sort that out because I have shown you that bit. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I have stuck the ribbon down. I've gone forward, and I've also done it on the back page as well, and I've done it in the other signature as well. The other thing I did was I used my lovely decorative punch, and I used it on this sheet here, just to add a little bit of extra interest, prettiness to it. It's very thin paper, so I did punch them both at the same time, and that worked very well. Oh, missed a bit at the top. Let's just get that last little bit done. There we are. So it's just adds a little bit extra there. I quite like the look. So what I did on here is I had no, it's on this side. So where I'd done this, and I've added a bit of ribbon there, is that I did add a tag, and I have used another book for this purpose. So I've got this book. It is the Reader's Digest Complete Library of the Garden. This is volume 1. There's volume 2 and volume 3, and it has some sort of beautiful illustrations in it, which I just think make lovely, lovely tags. So I'm going to use this one for there. I just think this one, simply cut that there, is a perfect tag. And then you've got little ones you can make little journaling cards out of. So I'm just going to trim this down there. Can I go over slightly? Only ever so slightly. So that makes quite a nice tag there. I'm going to cut it off this side as well, so that it is nicely in the centre. And then we'll just cut off a bit at the bottom there, so we don't have the page number. And I'm just going to get rid of that word there at the top. So that is going to be the tag that's going to go in there. And this is a bit of a Blue Peter moment. So then I just backed it on to there. So I've got this one done. All I did was I backed it onto tea stained paper, and then I'm going to use this to create tag top. Like so, and then I'm just going to go around the edges, and I don't do anything else really. Oh, I did round the bottom, and that was just another way of making a very quick lovely book page tag. Also ink on the other side, and I did sort of come in a little bit optional, but I wanted to make the page look a little bit more old, and then it's just a matter of adding ribbon to the top of that to finish it off. But you can see that in the flip through, so that goes on there quite nicely. So the other one will get done in the same way, and then moving through to the back, I just added some, I love that postcard, and I think that goes really well in that pocket. So just adding a few things like that. On the back page, I just stuck some piano roll on this back page, so you've got a journaling page there, and I am going to show you how I did the last little feature, which was using these sheets again, and I'm going to get my ruler to rip ruler, and it was just making a nice little fold over. So let's get it to the right length. So we'll go up to about there. Just eyeball that for about there. I'm going to make two at the same time. Like so. We've got no writing on the back, and so I'm just going to go in the middle to rip this down. Like so, and then I'm going to score down the centre to fold. So put that centre line in there and just score down there so that we can fold on there. And then you've got these lots and lots of journaling space, and it just can fold over like so. I actually want it the other way. I don't think it matters, there's not really an up or a down, so put it on that way. So that goes really nicely, I think, with those colours. And I did sort of decorate this. The other alternative was to do it so that you had the pattern on both sides, and so the journaling spot was just on the inside. I did do it in both ways, but that is that little last bit there to be done. Finish that one off afterwards. And then the only other tags that I haven't shown you are the ones that go in the centre of each of the signatures, and I made these just with some cardstock. So I took this nice sort of light grey cardstock that I had, browny grey, just made the tags using this punch. I did a background stamp on them, and then added for one of them I added so I did pairs the same, so I'd added some of this stuff in the background, and then I took the composers off from the back of the music sheet. So this was the back of the music sheet where this has all come from. So there we had some composers, so I just took them off and added them there, which I thought was quite a nice little touch. This one was Fussy Cuts from this Reader's Digest book. I just fussy cut out some of the flowers. There, I've got one in preparation, and added the book page and stuck it on. So I'll be doing those just to sort of finish it off, and you can see in this one how they look. So that's those two tags in that centre, and then in this centre we have the two music ones. So I'll be repeating that process. So this is one of those flips where I've done it so they're patterns on both sides, and then in this one I did it so the pattern was just on the one side, and then I just added that decoration, and you've got journaling in there. So that is the last little bits. So I thought those were pretty self-explanatory, and yeah, so I'm going to leave that for now, and because I think this has been quite long and I've shown you lots, and so next time we have just got to sew in the signatures, do some decoration on the inside of the cover, and decorate a bit of the outside of the cover. So I hope you'll join me for that, and then I'll do a flip through of the journals. Okay, thanks for joining me, and I will see you again in the next video. Thank you very much. Bye for now.